Thanks to Thinkers Forum for inviting me. From this is the first event related to environment where I'm invited as a guest. I'm not a specialist in this domain. Looking at Rachel and at such a young age that she has written such in-depth book, it reminded me Swami Vivekananda's statement that my faith lies in the younger generation. He always used to believe in the younger generation, and something is good is going to come from them. A few years back, I had visited Badri in Uttarakhand, and in one of the villages where Seva International is running women self-help groups, we had a meeting of about 30 women. Coincidentally, at that time, there was a batch of MBA students from Mumbai. They had come to study their agricultural practices and recommend what they can improve. And I happened to be in that meeting. And in that, the student from MBA college, he was presenting his conclusions. He said, after studying all your agricultural practices, we feel that you are losing 20% of the crops to monkeys, birds, and rats. And we have recommendations what you can do to reduce this leakage. Then one old lady sitting in that, she was around 60 years and never went to school. She said very casually, उनको भी खाने दो, ये पहाड़ उनका भी तो है. She has never went to school or college, but she thinks very naturally that this mountain belongs to them also. Why should we think that 100% of the produce I only must grab it? So I think this reflection of that old lady's words truly conveys what Bharatiya Chintan is all about. It's all about coexistence, as the title talks about, and the bond that we share with each and every entity in this creation. And this lady does not know what SDG means. SDG 12 talks about responsible consumption and production. She doesn't know about all those things. But when you look at this responsible consumption, especially when we go out and purchase something, what do we look at? I was just talking to my younger colleagues at office today, since I was coming for this program, as to what do you look for when you are buying things. Some of the things that came out were we buy when things are on sale. And especially if something is clearance sale, like 70%, 80% off, you feel as if you are cheating the owner and buying at a such low price. That is one thing, if something is on sale. Second thing is if it looks good, like an apple that shines has a better price. Actually, they put wax on it. But we are fooled. An apple that is shining, we are ready to pay more price. Right? One is whatever is on sale we buy, whatever looks good we buy, and third is we buy things which add to our comfort and convenience. Whatever adds to my comfort and convenience, these are the four things that we look at. Whereas the Bharatiya Chintan talks about consumption in a very different way, because the whole creation is connected. So whenever we make a choice to procure anything, to buy anything, can we think at four levels? First question is it good for me? We call this Vyashti, individual. Is it good for me as an individual? Like the doctor talked about, when we consume anything, are we even asking this question? Forget about environment, everything. Is it at least good for my health? That's the first filter we need to ask. Second question is Samashti. Is it good for my family and the society around? Anything that I am buying, is it doing good to my family and my society? Why I'm insisting on family is recently there was a research done in UK, and they found families that cook and eat have a better chance of staying together. So it's not just family which eats together stays together. Family that cooks and eats together stays together. And unconsciously we are getting into the habit of ordering. Like everything is available with one order. And that actually breaks the families. So when we are consuming anything, second question is it good for my family and to the society? And also when you are procuring, third is it good for the nature? Where is it coming from? And where will it end up after I use it? These are the two questions we need to ask. Where is it coming from? How is it produced? And where is it going to end up after my consumption? And lastly, we call that Parameshti. Vyakti, Samashti, Srishti, nature, and Parameshti. Parameshti is the divinity. Is my purchase going to lead me in the direction of becoming little more spiritually progressive, right? Feeling little more connected with the entire creation, connected with the divinity itself. So these levels, if you are able to think, Vyashti, Samashti, Srishti and Parameshti, any of our actions, if you ask these four questions, then we are leading a life in line with Dharma. Dharma is very simple. All those activities we do, choices we make, if we can check these four entities, good for me, good for the society, good for the nature, and good for my spiritual progress, then we are leading a life of Dharma. What it means is, after thinking about this topic last night, I just did an audit of my own home, because as she said, home is the best place to begin. I mean, how eco-friendly is my home? Because forget about government will not do it, because GDP will fall. If we all follow this lifestyle she is recommending, GDP is going to fall. So governments, no country, government will not have this priority, because they want to increase GDP. And the moment we reduce consumption, moment we become responsible consumers, GDP will go down. So unless the government decides to redefine what is progress, redefine what is development, what is growth, then it will never become their priority. It will be a lip service. But as individuals, we can bring about the change. So at home, I just looked at where to start. I just thought of my daily routine, right? First thing, we used to go to bathroom. Then what is the toothpaste I am using? How much chemicals are there? Where is it coming from? Even the place of manufacturing matters. If something is coming from Mumbai to Bangalore, look at the carbon footprint. How many kilometers it is traveling? Versus a tooth powder made in Mysore and without chemicals, right? If we can use that, that's the first place. The soap we are using, shampoo we are using, can we reduce the chemicals in all our day to day things that we are using? Second thing I looked at was my wardrobe. I literally did my audit, because when I am speaking here, is there anything that I am doing in that direction of living more eco-friendly life? In the clothes that we have, right? First thing is the number of clothes we have. So think about it. Do I need so many? Second thing is what kind of clothes. Just compare jeans pant to a common cotton pant. Making of jeans pant consumes 10 times more energy and takes such poisonous chemicals, whether it is mercury, lead, cadmium, all kinds of chemicals are used when you have to manufacture jeans. And the amount of cotton itself, just the weight you see, right? Cotton, a normal cotton pant or khadi pant versus jeans pant, it weighs a lot. So you are torturing mother earth so much. So much of cotton is required to make one jeans pant. So many chemicals they have to use. But it is a fashion. So who has to change? In fact, I used to wear jeans pant when I was in US. First thing I changed after coming to Bharat in 2007, I will not wear jeans. And last 18 years I have never wore jeans. And khadi. See, khadi is the least damaging for the environment. And natural colors, like this was bought in Desi store. They use always organic color. See, one thing with organic color is that it will never look very bright. The way the chemicals can bring that brightness to the color, organic colors will not have. But that's a little thing that we can compromise, right? But who has to set this precedence? Who will set the trend when it comes to fashion? I always feel that young people who are good looking should set the trend. If I wear khadi, it's not going to become a trend. Some young people who think they are good looking, or at least two, three people tell them that you are good looking. I mean, you have to be the trendsetters. You have to start wearing more eco friendly clothes. That is when it becomes a trend. Same way with other consumption, like I went to kitchen. What is the kind of food that we are eating? How much of it is organic? And at least in our house, rice and dal, we make sure it is organic, but some of the other things may not be 100%. And one of my friends I was discussing with using organic rice. One thing he complained was, when I bring organic rice, ತುಂಬ ಬೇಗ ಹುಳ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ. I said, the hula knows what to eat than you. The fact that you don't get insect or worms in the rice, that's a alarming sign. Even sugar, you see, none of the ants come to the sugar these days. You just keep sugar on the table and see. I keep jaggery, sugar will come. As been ants will come. But if you keep sugar, ants are also not coming. Maybe they have that natural intelligence which we are losing to AI, and we are going after these things. So kitchen is one area. How much of it is healthy for me and healthy for Mother Earth, right? And how many miles it has traveled. When we buy vegetables, if you buy on the gadi just outside your home, the vegetables come from either Gudibanda or Nelamangala, one of these nearby places. If you buy in Reliance, it would have traveled thousands of kilometers because they squeeze the price like anything. These chains, if onion is 30 rupees here and they get at 20 rupees in Gujarat, they buy thousands of kilos from Gujarat to all their chains, other outlets. So can we buy local consumption? Whatever is produced locally, as local as possible. If you can grow your own food, that's the best thing. But all of us may not be able to do in Bangalore. But at least grow as close to as possible. Buy food that is grown as local as possible. In fact, this is the very idea of Swadeshi. Local production and local consumption, not really made in India. Made in India is very different from Swadeshi concept. Swadeshi is being local. And these are small changes that we all can bring about. And the entertainment that we are going through, what kind of information we are feeding. So when it comes to all these lifestyle changes, ultimately it's all about lifestyle. Environment is not about marathons and jathas, because there are marathons I participated for environmental awareness. Literally 4,000 water bottles were used in this marathon. The theme was to raise environmental awareness, but runners, the amount of plastic water bottles they were using, 4,000 water bottles were consumed. So anything that comes to our home, how are we disposing? So these are simple things we need to ask rather than just what is convenient, what is comfortable, right? And if you can follow these simple steps, that is all the Bharatiya Chintan about. Vyashti, Samashti, Srushti and Parameshti are my choices, are my actions doing good to me, my community, the nature, and taking me closer to the divinity. I think if we can do that, as I mentioned, when it comes to trends in fashion, young, good looking people have to set the precedence. When it comes to simple living, it's the rich people who have to set the precedence. I mean, a poor man is always eco friendly because he has no option. He cannot consume so many things. But as people with wealth, can we be responsible? Because the way rich people celebrate marriage, the poor people will take loan and do the same way. Because we are the trendsetters. So those who have wealth must exercise restraint. So I will end with a small story from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. When demons, gods, and human beings, right? All three did penance to Prajapati. And Prajapati, when appeared, he gave one letter teaching. The single letter teaching to all three. He said, the is the only, this is probably the shortest teaching ever you can find. Prajapati said, the is the message for all of you. And all three took in their own way, what is useful for them. The demons, Daityas, they understood Da as Daya. We need to practice more compassion because we are so cruel to others. We need to practice compassion. So they understood Da as Daya. And human beings understood it as Dana. We are very self centered. Can I give more? Can I share more? And Devatas who live in heaven, they understood it as Dhamma, that is restraint in consumption. Because Devatas represent affluence. They live in heaven, they have everything they can consume. And those are the ones who have to exercise restraint. So, with these few ideas from the Bharatiya Chintan, there is nothing abstract here. In fact, Dharma is all about taking actions, making conscious choices, which is good at all four levels. And so far, we have talked enough about Dharma, I think. It is time we leave Dharma and experience it. When you just practice one simple change in your life, which will be doing good at all four levels, and you will experience a very different types of peace in your own mind. I think today there is a lot of intellectual discussion Because I looked at ecological science, environmental science textbook. It's all about theory. It logically everyone understands. Every smoker knows that smoking is injurious to health, but doesn't bring about behavioral change. Behavioral change comes from bonding. I really like the word bond. When you look at children, if they have practiced little bit of farming, right? If they have touched the mud at least few times, teach them at least clay modeling. Even if they have played with clay, they are more connected to Mother Earth than others. But today we are not giving that experience of Earth. We are talking logically why we should lead eco-friendly life. Otherwise, how it will harm you. And you are trying to convince them that it is your responsibility for future generation. See, this generation has no thought about future generation. They are not planning to get married. They don't want to have kids. That's the generation we are talking about. And that logic that you need to leave something for the future generation is not appealing. Can we bring little more experience into their lives? Practically working with Mother Earth. Can simple farming, when it is terrace gardening or anything, children should play with mud. Even barefoot walking is also good. We don't allow children to walk barefoot anywhere. That their bond with Mother Earth is so weak today. So unless we create that emotional bond, the idea is that this is Mother Earth, not as an intellectual discourse, but as an experience. Unless that emotional bond is created, unless we create a sense of sacredness, because you see ದೇವರ ಕಾಡು ಈ ಶಿರ್ಸಿ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆ ದೇವರ ಕಾಡು ಅಂತ. Nobody spoils anything in that part because there is a sense of sacredness in that. So I think we need to bring back that emotional bond with the creation and a sense of sacredness, and all our actions, if we can be in alignment with these four dimensions of our existence, we truly live dharma and experience dharma. As I mentioned, we have talked about dharma enough. It is time to live it and experience. Thank you so much for this opportunity.